I'm buying a PS6 day one if possible. I'm sad about the end of physical media, but as long as they honor game purchases and don't take away my games, I really can't care that much. It is simply a advancement of technology if it isn't abused. Ignore the responses to this. They are all ignorant. They don't even understand what renting means. Renting is a monthly payment. We pay once for a game and keep it forever unless it relies on online connection and the servers of the game shut down. My sentiments exactly. People are panicking for no reason. They have zero reason to take people's games away because they would just be shooting themselves in the foot for no reason. LOL. I've been fully digital since 2022, and I've had no problems with the service provided. Same here. I agree with the objection in principle, but it doesn't impact me at all. What are we doing? What are we doing? What is with this corporate ass class of gamers? What is it with these people? Why do you like the boot so much? This is insanity. This is insane to me. What do you mean? First off, that first statement had a lot of hypotheticals in there, right? The whole I'm sad about the end of physical media, but as long as they honor game purchases and don't take our games away, I really don't care that much. It's just a simple advance for technology if it isn't abused. Lots of buts and ifs, lots of maybes. You do know that Sony got rid of like 500 movies from people's libraries, their digital libraries. They paid money for these movies to own. And then Sony said, no. The things you paid for, gone. Is there a refund? No. And the other person talking about, these people don't talk about, renting is a monthly thing. You pay for this for once and you own it forever unless the online services go down or unless the servers are no longer connecting. So not forever by that example. And also, you are, like the previous person, relying on a corporation to have your best interest at heart and not their best interest at heart. What is stopping Sony from making it a rental? If you have no recourse, I can do whatever I want, okay? What's stopping Sony from just being like, all right, bitch, next time you want to load up into a game, you gotta pay $5, a $5 monthly fee. They might charge you a storage fee. It may sound insane, but so did paying $100 for video games or $80 for video games or going diskless. This is the thinking of someone who doesn't understand how insanely capitalistic our society is. Of course, Sony is going to try some fuck shit. That is the reason why they're going diskless to begin with, okay? They know if they can control the distribution, A, there's no middleman to make more money, and B, you have no recourse. At least in America, we have very weak consumer protections because of our current administration. So because of that, they can do more. And you have very little recourse besides just not buying games from that console. But if that's your console of choice, then you're kind of fucked, right? You cannot rely on the benevolence of corporations because corporations don't give a fuck about you. Look what's happening in Microsoft. They just fired 3,200 people or 3,200 people or 20% of their employees, which is about, including 600 of those were in one day. 1,600 in one day. Half of them in one day. That's a corporation. Firing 1,600 people. And 4 studios just let them go. Now, I'm seeing people saying, well, it could have been worse. You know, they could have closed down the studios. They could have shut them down. This is still bad. This is still bad. Look at the market. Look at what's happening to other studios. Do you think the funding is going to flow to places like Compulsion and like Ninja Theory and like Arcane Leon and all those places? No. I mean, I hope they do, but like, It's hard out there. And unless you have an IP that is guaranteed to make money, like State of Decay, there's a high chance that you're not getting funded. Oh, Double Fine. How could I forget them too? Double Fine. There is a huge issue in the gaming space when it comes to investment. That's why when these companies were originally bought out or brought under the umbrella of Microsoft, it was seen as a benefit to them because they'd had the resources of a giant corporation. But the corporation mismanaged the fuck out of these companies. And so these companies are now holding the bag. And again, I cannot stress this enough. 3,200 people are going to lose their jobs this fiscal year. 1,600 of them already did, including studios like id. You know, the people who, as this recording, released DLC for Doom: The Dark Ages. Yeah, those people, half of them gone. So if you liked Doom Eternal, Doom: The Dark Ages, Doom 2016, half of the people who made that game what it was, gone. That is one of the unintended consequences of these job losses, right? You lose talent. And the gaming industry, because it is low-key shrinking, cannot absorb all this talent. So then you have knowledge gone. Years of experience just wasted because they're not going to be in the industry anymore. Most of them are going to find jobs somewhere else because the bills don't stop. Capitalism, it's a bitch. The bills don't stop. And so all these people who complain about the quality of games getting lower and lower are like, how come 10 years ago we had this kind of level of technology or fidelity for this and it's gone? It's because the people who were doing it 10 years ago are no longer able to work in this industry. You don't have any senior or junior developers anymore. You're having these new people come in because people are still making games, but they're not as experienced. This can also hurt the overall product. You have games right now that for some reason are struggling to come out, like Marvel's Blade. And Marvel's Blade was under Arcane Leon, who is one of the studios that is now going under management consultation to review potential strategic options. That is code for they're going to lay people off in order to avoid closing. And laying people off while you're working on a game puts more pressure on people who are still there working on the game, which might make the game just never come out or release in a terrible state. Capitalism. All of this shit is the result of capitalism. Whether it's people buying up all these corporations in order to make the most money and not managing it well, whether it's downsizing to save money, whether it's, releasing games in a bad state in order to make the investors happy, it's all capitalism. This is why you've been noticing a massive trend of game studios and game developers losing jobs regardless of the quality of the game, which is the perfect segue to one of these tweets I saw, which really just pissed me off. Okay, I'm not going to make a joke. It pissed me off. There was a person on Twitter who I believe was a former developer on Elder Scrolls Online, and they were just venting because they were one of the studios hit. Bethesda also lost people. And just their responses here, I'm going to just show you the responses. So you have Andrew Young. I'm just so angry today. People will never know the blood, sweat, and tears that went into making ESO or how we basically funded other failing projects while never getting enough resources to really keep up with our release cadence. The team deserved much better. I've been gone for a while, but talking to people today and realizing there's really no one left and no changing it now makes my heart ache. For the people, our game, who we were as a team, as a studio. This is serious loss, and I don't think people know how much. People want fun, immersive fantasy worlds. They can live in, not grind to the next XP MMO slogs with Elder Scrolls. EOS has become Disneyfied, safe, uninventive, and DEI was inserted into it. Oh God. Over the last few years, you changed beloved characters, even made one like boys, not men, boys. My only problem with these labs is you weren't laid off for these reasons, but to save money. Games sucked ass and was a disgrace to the franchise. You got paid, you got to experience, you got experience on your resume, the job is over. This is like a Wendy's driver-through attendant. Nobody will know how hard we worked for the Pretzel Baconator, sobbing as the franchisee chooses to close their location. Future employers won't care. Did you do good? Did you do good work? Did you turn up the graphics on level 2 when asked? Move on. Blood, sweat, and tears. Blood? Were y'all shitting blood or something? Sweat? Did you not have AC at the office? Tears? Bro, y'all are crying, or maybe it's just allergies. I'm going to assume zero blood, sweat, or tears went to ESO. Combat ESO sucked. Everything was paywalled. You buy it in expansion only to then been forced to buy more shit that should have been included with the expansion. Good riddance. Took resources away from actual mainline Elder Scrolls and allowed Bethesda to keep kicking the can down the road. And it's endless. It's endless. You guys are just making shit up and breaking Elder Scrolls lore. It's endless. Anyone can look at these two photos and tell you why you're being hit with layoffs. If you're too mentally ill to fucking see the issue, then you're part of the problem and you got what you deserve. The core audience is done with this shit. And I guarantee you it's just women. Black people. I honestly do not know why they're upset without this. I'm genuinely at a loss here. I'm genuinely at a loss here why they're upset. This is mostly white people here. I'm genuinely at a loss. We didn't want ESO, we wanted ES6. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Are you seriously this dumb? Check out ESO Steam concurrent players yourself. It's on steady decline while Skyrim Special Edition concurrent players is on an uptrend. ESO is dead. It's dead. You get it. You get it. This was someone just lamenting that his friends, his team, are out of a job. And you have these people who are so bereft of any shred of empathy, and some of them so fucking stupid that they think that ESO was the reason why they weren't making Elder Scrolls 6, even though they were making fucking Starfield during that time period. This is a different team. These people don't even understand how game design works. Not everyone who works at a studio is working at the same thing at the same time, right? People are working on different things. There is an Elder Scrolls team. There's an Elder Scrolls Online team. There's a Starfield team. There's a Fallout team. This is like saying the reason why there's no new Fallout game is because of Fallout TV show and not because they were working on a different game altogether. But I digress on that point. You have someone who's suffering from a loss of a job because of cost-cutting measures, capitalism, and the response that the people who play their games is, fuck you, who cares? Oh, what, you're gonna cry? Like, I fucking hate gamers, dog. I'm saying it, dog. I hate gamers so much. Capital G, parentheses T, and parentheses derogatory. I hate gamers so fucking much, man. It's just like, there's no heart. There's no brain. It's just consume. Just real life consumers. Just consume. PlayStation's gonna get rid of the disc. I don't really care. I don't really need a disc. They're gonna treat me good. I'm a good corporate slave. Oh, people are losing their job because Microsoft has been mismanaging to hell to the point where they at one point had 14 fucking layers of management. You added DEI to the game. That's why you lost your job. The game was dead, even though it lasted 10 years. It was dead and bad, because dead and bad MMOs always last 10 years. That's the truth. That's what happens, right? And again, it's like these people don't understand that everyone here is a victim of capitalism. Everyone, including the gamers. You are getting less and paying more. You no longer have access to physicals if you have a PlayStation console. And this trend's probably gonna continue across other consoles, right? If PlayStation can do it, and you guys are just giving them slight pushback, though shout out to the people who are pushing back. I see you, I hear you. But if they're gonna get slight pushback and you guys are still like, well, we're gonna buy GTA 6 no matter what, then they're gonna keep doing it. And who's to say that Xbox or eventually fucking the next Nintendo won't do that too, right? But all of this is capitalism. They are giving you less and less, and you are just taking it. You're just saying, hey, you know what? I'm gonna take my frustrations out that I can't understand, not on these companies who are putting these developers in these fucked up situations where no matter how much they sell, how good they do, how many awards they win, they are going to get canceled, they're going to get shuttered, or they're going to get sold off or shipped away or gutted parts or whatever so we can make money. You're mad at the developer. You're mad at someone who's talking about how no one's going to realize how much they worked, how hard they worked, or the fact that they were bailing out failing projects because of mismanagement. It's just, your game sucked because DEI. you guys couldn't realize how terrible the game was because, I don't know, women are in it. Like, this is why I get so frustrated when we're talk about gaming or politics and gaming, whatever, because you have people who, when they are shown proof of the real issues, again, ESO is one of many, 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 many teams across the Microsoft brand that have been affected by Microsoft's poor management. People aren't going after Microsoft for their poor management. They're attacking the companies that were poorly managed. This fucking guy was literally said, with no exaggeration, people will never know the blood, sweat, and tears that went into making ESO, or how we basically funded other failing projects while never getting enough resources to really keep up with our release cadence. That is mismanagement. That is them shouldering the load because of mismanagement. And that gets lost because people are, oh, you're just complaining. Your game was terrible. No, dumbass. They had to do way more than they're supposed to do because of poor management. Because all Microsoft cared about was really buying Activision. Activision Blizzard, the acquisition, cost a lot of fucking money. And so you got to make up a lot of revenue. And if they're not making that revenue, you know what they're going to do? Because line must always go up, because capitalism, they're going to fucking fire people. They're going to gut teams. They're going to restructure. They're going to do whatever they can do to save money. We are beginning the most significant restructuring in Xbox history. After careful consideration, I've made a difficult decision to reduce our team by approximately 3,200 throughout fiscal year 27. This will include approximately 1,600 role eliminations today, and in addition, 4 studios will leave Xbox to new management. I recognize that a year-long restructuring creates additional challenges. Unfortunately, it is not possible to make all necessary changes in a single day, and I want to be direct about the scale. I know this is painful. These changes will directly affect people who have poured their creativity into building Xbox. Many joined us through acquisitions, while others were recruited here or sought us out because they love this industry and loved Xbox. Today's decisions does not reflect their talent or dedication. Our business today is not healthy. We are operating at margins that are 3 to 10 times lower than comparable platforms and publishing businesses. We entered Gen 9 with a smaller install base and a higher cost structure. To grow, we bet on Game Pass, multi-platform, and broader portfolio of content. While those businesses have created meaningful value, they did not grow at the pace we expected. As that happened, our core business weakened, and we added more teams, more investment, and more time, hoping for a better outcome. And now the industry is facing the most severe hardware crisis in history. We must reset Xbox. Side note, this whole severe crisis in history, this is some fucking AI. Shit that Microsoft as a company is also responsible for partly. First, we will reset our content portfolio. Since 2018, we have aggressively expanded our studio portfolio, while the number of games created each month across the industry now outpaces the last 10 years combined. We now find ourselves competing not only with the largest publishers, but also with smaller independent studios. It is neither possible nor desirable to own every great independent studio. We have also learned that we are not the best home for every type of studio. In a typical year, we lost 64 cents for every dollar we invested. As we reset Xbox, we will help independent creators succeed by providing open development tools and audiences to realize their vision. I do not buy for a second that they are competing with smaller independent studios. That just sounds like bullshit to me. Compulsion Games and Double Fine Productions will return to management and transition to independent studios with their IP, catalog, and runway for the next games. Ninja Theory and Undead Labs are the ones who done State of Decay, have entered terms to join new ownership with funding to compete and grow Senua and State of Decay 3. In France, Arcane's management is being required consultation with its works council to review potential strategic options, meaning Arcane Lyon, the people who are working on the Blade game, are fucked. They don't have anyone right now, which potential strategic options is code for they're also going to downsize and get rid of people unless a founding source can be found. We are also making reductions across other units and in some cases shifting investment to focus on higher priority projects. These changes vary across Activision, Bethesda / ZeniMax, Blizzard, King, Mojang, and Xbox Game Studio. None of our first-party publicly announced games or projects are being canceled as part of these reductions. People were talking about, oh, well, no games got canceled. I'm like, no. What she said was, none of our first-party publicly announced games or projects are being canceled. That doesn't mean projects that weren't announced publicly aren't being canceled. So for all we know, there could be literally dozens of games being canceled as we speak. In addition, Mojang and King will now report directly to me. These two studios have increasingly become platforms and are largest by monthly active players. They bring critical geographic, demographic, and differentiation to Xbox. Mojang is Minecraft, and I believe King is Candy Crush. I'll double check that. But if that's the case, it's a mobile game and fucking Minecraft. Second, we will reset our platform. We know that great technology gets better when it gets simpler, not bigger. Today, in some parts of the company, work passes through as many as 14 layers of management. Our platform teams are 40% larger than they were at the start of this generation, even as our player base and playtime has declined. The complexity has slowed down decisions, blurred accountability, and made it harder to deliver for players. As we reset Xbox, we will simplify. We will reduce management layers to no more than 5, and where possible 3. We will deliver success through a flatter organization that is built around makers, individual contributors focusing on building, player coaches, leaders who remain deeply involved in the work while developing their teams, and direct responsible individuals, DRIs, who own key decisions and outcomes. And we will streamline how we work across our tools with a cleaner code base, shared services, and 50% reduced vendor spend. This low-key sounds like they're going to use AI somewhere. Third, we are resetting how we operate. As Xbox grew our headcount, we became more fragmented. Teams, studios, and functions often operate independently, and it became harder to work towards a shared goal, make the right trade-offs, and get things done. For the first time, we are establishing a chief operating officer within. Wait, this is the first time they're doing this? A chief operating officer with end-to-end P&L responsibility across the content, hardware, platform, and services. Helen Chang has been promoted to this role and report directly to me. For nearly 2 decades, okay, I don't care about this. I don't care about her. Someone thank you to David. The changes about bigger future of Xbox, not a smaller one. Xbox is one of the few companies that entertains more than 1 billion people each day and gives everyone opportunity to create and connect. I know we can achieve this goal. Xbox has many of the most beloved franchises in entertainment history, talented studios around the world, and will return to growth in 2027. This is the most corporate shit I have ever seen. Also, what do you mean by I want Xbox to be one of the few companies that entertains more than 1 billion people each day? Like players? Because that's impossible. Look, man, all of this shit that I just read, that I stumbled through, I'm sorry, it's late, but all this shit that I just read is so hollow to me. It's so hollow to me because all the real information that came out here was this shit was so poorly mismanaged. They are now introducing a CEO with like end-to-end responsibilities for the first time ever. They let it get to 14 layers of management before they're like, hey, maybe that's too much. Maybe that's too fragmented. And again, they are the ones who sought out most of these companies. They are the ones who acquired Activision Blizzard at an insane cost. And now this is the outcome of this shit. This is the outcome of capitalism. And again, there's people who are just like, wasn't that bad. This is gonna be a bloodbath. Wasn't that bad. Wasn't that terrible. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Just because they were talking in corporate speak doesn't mean that it wasn't fucking terrible. Honestly, made the best of a tough situation. I won't undersell 300 layoffs. That's awful. However, no studios being shuttered, independent teams are given some funding, and Single State of Decay being finished are big dubs in today's cold industry. This is underselling the 3,200 layoffs, dog. You gave this shit a sentence and went to talk about how no studios are being shuttered. They're being effectively shuttered, just not by Microsoft. They're out in the cold. Only 2 of them have secured funding. Independent teams are given some funding, not fucking Arcane, who are making Blade, not Compulsion, not Double Fine. The most striking thing about Asha Sharma's tweet isn't the 3,200 layoffs, it's everything she acknowledges. So just ignoring the 3,200 layoffs. This is an actual W reset. No games announced are being canceled. No studios got shut. They got new owners. No, like only 2 of them did. Xbox now has a CEO controlling everything through and through, which they should have already had. Like, this is nowhere near as bad as insides are hyping up to be. Like, it is bad. How does one manage to do this without closing a single studio? They fired 3,200 people. Like, do you see how they're just burying the lead? Like it's just no announcement. It's like they're all reading from the same fucking script. I know it's been easy to knock at Xbox the last decade, but it's weird to say that I actually think they may finally rebound. Seeing a company admit mistakes, regrets, acknowledge their current position is at least a good start. This is nothing. This is people falling for. This is losing to a dog in chess, dog. This is like people falling for those YouTube apology videos where it's like, hi, I'm a non-black person who's 30 years old, and I didn't know I couldn't say the N-word. But you know what? I took some time. I'm listening. I'm learning. And I just hope in the future we can move past this and I can show you guys how much I've changed, which is why I'm going to take a 2-week break from streaming. I'm going to go into rehab. I'm going to read some Malcolm X and it'll be all Gucci. Like, this is the shit they're falling for. They admitted their mistakes. So fucking what? Does that erase the fact that 3,200 people are losing their jobs for their mistakes? Through no fault of their own? 1,600 people already lost their jobs. Half of the id team's already gone. Do you think her saying whoopsie doopsies, we're gonna reset, well, she was dealt a shit hand, then why aren't the people who made those decisions being fired? Why aren't people taking less money? Why aren't people trying to keep these people here? Like, it's why isn't Microsoft at the very saying, hey, you know what? Since we took you under and we fucked up, we will continue to fund your at least your last game before we send you out, unless you can already find a buyer. So you're good either way. Why aren't they doing that? It's not like Microsoft doesn't have money. Just because Xbox is losing money doesn't mean Microsoft is. I think they have money. Like, and I'm seeing people literally glaze this, and I'm just like, what the fuck happened? Like, why is no one understanding how bad this actually is? Are we really just falling for corporate speak? Like, this shit is insane. Especially the part where she's like, we're gonna focus on and the companies that she mentioned, the teams that she mentioned, is just Halo. It's Call of Duty, it's like Gears of War because of Xbox Studios, like it's fucking Minecraft and like Candy Crush. That's your focus going forward? That's insane. Like, I'd rather you not have done this. Honest to God. God, I feel like I'm going insane. I feel like I'm legitimately, maybe I'm so brain broken that I can't see how this is a W for the gaming industry or for literally anyone who likes video games. Because what I read was 3,200 people from multiple studios, including studios that produce bangers, like the Doom series, are losing half their staff. You know those companies who made smaller, more interesting games like Compulsion, like with South of Midnight, and before we have a few and Contrast? Yep, gone. Hey, you know Double Fine, who's never really made like huge numbers, but again, interesting creative games that, you know, not for everyone, still has their own value. Boop, gone. Oh, I'm sorry, they're independent now, and don't worry, they'll definitely be funded and they'll be around forever. I mean, one could hope for Compulsion. But this is a sign that Xbox is no longer going to put out, in my opinion, interesting shit. We're just going to get more Elder Scrolls. We're going to get, what I know people say that's good, but like, we're only going to get Elder Scrolls and Fallouts. That's it. But that's just not doing nothing else. Too risky. Capitalism. You become more risk averse. It kills innovation. It's too risky. Activision, get to work making another Call of Duty remake, remaster, whatever you do. Hey, Minecraft, we're gonna put more monetization in you. Hey, King Games, which I believe again is like Candy Crush, and I guess other shit too. We're gonna add more monetization because we gotta make up this money. And you guys are our big properties. Like, oh my god. This shit sucks, is what I'm saying.